My entire Kindle library could put me in jail. My Kindle library, if explored by authorities, could get me very well locked up for a few months.
I'm sorry, little kids.
Hey besties. So I've made the executive decision to begin my dark romance journey. I've never really read dark romance before. I just would love to delve into the utter chaos that is Haunting Adeline. A bunch of my friends have told me that they loved it and were like addicted to it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I need to know. Just finished House of Flame and Shadow, and I need something to suck me in and like make sure I don't get into a reading slump, because I always get into reading slumps after Sarah J Maas books. I have it on my Kindle and I'm gonna start it tonight. I think I'm gonna go skating with my dad, and then I'm gonna start it and see if it lives up to all the hype, and if I will be, in fact, a dark romance girly, because all my friends are.
So I finished it. And as Usher said at the Super Bowl, these are my confessions. However many years I spent in school, I had yet to learn things about myself. Through this book, I learned that perhaps I should seek Jesus. Now in my Kindle video, I said I got it on my Kindle and I was like, oh my God, I got 2% of the way in, and I decided I was gonna DNF it because I was like, this is just not for me at all. And I hate every second of it, to be frank. And then I looked it up on Fable and Goodreads and I was like, let me just look. Let me just take a good old friendly gaze at the reviews. And Goodreads, absolutely horrendous. The reviews are horrendous. And then I looked it up on Fable, and on Fable there was a lot more leniency, there was a lot more love for the book. And I was intrigued and I said, you know what? I don't want to be a slave to the metrics. I am so happy that I decided to give it the good old college try. And what I found on the other side of that journey was anything but relief. If only it was further cause for concern. And what I mean by that is concern for myself, concern for the things that I find attractive, concern for concern for my well-being mentally and physically. I have decided to move forward with not telling my therapist about this, though I should just get right to like my thoughts, because you guys are probably bored with all of this. So I loved it. I loved it so much that I made a playlist called Zade Meadows. I almost didn't want to put it as read, as completed on Goodreads and Fable, because I was afraid of the backlash. I was afraid of the consequences of that action. I feel guilty about it, but I loved it. I feel terrible about it actually, but I absolutely ate it up. Hey. The second one is already in my grasp. I haven't even started really reading the second one, and I already have been watching YouTube videos entitled Books That Are Like Haunting Adeline. You guys, all I'm gonna say is this. Please do read the trigger warnings, because it is very disturbing. About 90% of that is Zade himself, the love interest, who is a murderer.
About the people he murdered.
What murder?
Criminal, in every sense of the word. A stalker. Completely unaffected and possesses a real lack of respect for boundaries. What that says about me, I don't want to know. That's why I want no feedback. If you guys could just hear me say this and just don't give me feedback. I already know too much about myself, I think. I don't need to know more, and I don't want to know more. Really wanted to hate it. Believe me when I say I had every intention of hating it. I had every intention of hating it. And unfortunately, I have a playlist called Zade Meadows now on my phone. and I look out my window and imagine a stalker standing there waiting for me, hot and sexy stalker. Yeah, so I'm gonna get back to work. Yeah, okay.
Who's the bestest boy? Oh, big yards. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I just started hunting Adeline. Something absolutely insane has happened. It just reminded me of that clip of Trisha Paytas when she's on Call Her Daddy and she's like, so many times when I just woke up in the back of a van and didn't know where I was. Remember when she said that shit? It's crazy if that happens to you once. She said it happened to her, I'm pretty sure she said like upwards of 10 times. Hey, after the second time, something's wrong. And not necessarily with other people. Okay, I have a feeling that something really big is about to be revealed, so I just want to film my reaction to it. Like I know who it's gonna be revealed to be. Okay, I'm actually happy it wasn't who I thought I was, but I still wasn't expecting that. Okay guys. Yes, I have clothes on my bed that I haven't cleaned up. We need to have a little chit chat about the contents in which I have read. I am almost done Miss Hunting Adeline. Thus far, I'm obsessed, okay? I'm obsessed. I do have a few little things that I want to touch on because a lot of my book friends, we all have very similar feelings about Hunting Adeline versus Haunting Adeline. There will be some little spoilers in here, I think. So I do know that there is a lot of people who don't love the second book as much as the first book, and I totally get where they're coming from. The first book, we're really focusing on Addie and her relationship with Zaid, and that's pretty much the whole book. Like, there is the secondary plot, but for like 90% of the book is their interactions with each other, like physically. And the second book, because of the circumstances, this is when maybe, if you haven't read the second one, this is when a spoiler is going to emerge. In the second one, it starts out with them not being together. They are separated, and it goes on, like their separation and their different stories take up about half of the second book. Like, I found that because the first book was so concentrated on their physical relationship, that going from one extreme to the next extreme of them not being together at all, not only that, but also the insanely horrific things that happened to Addie right out the gate of the second book, sorry. It's really upsetting and it's really jarring, and like, I just want to warn anybody, if you are a victim of sexual harassment or sexual assault, like, and you don't feel comfortable reading about that or talking about that at all, I would definitely not recommend either of these books to you. If you think that that's something you can handle, then all the power to you. I have, you know, endured some harassment in my life, but thankfully I'm at a place where I can read stuff like this and it doesn't bother me. Yeah, the first like 45% of the second book is just really upsetting. Like, there was, I'm gonna insert a clip because there were times when I would literally be like, I would have to put it down and literally try and like get the image out of my head. Like, I have to be like, oh my god, okay, think about puppies or anything else. I did think that the whole first half of the book could have been shortened. I think the author still could have gotten their point across with how traumatic it was for her without having to make it that long. I did have some friends who have DNF'd Hunting Adeline for this specific reason. They were just like, it's dragging on, and like, when are they gonna get back together again, and blah 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 blah. We all know by now. You know, I'm hesitant to even say it. It's like my mouth doesn't want the words to exit out of my voice box, but I'm going to force it anyway. Love Zaid.
I love him. He would like a man to commit heinous crimes for me, and I don't think that's a problem.
I just finished it. It's 11 o'clock at night. I was so apprehensive in the beginning. And there were definitely still times in the book when when I would do one of these where I'd read and I would just go. I loved it. Especially the second half. The first half of Haunting Adeline was really tough to get through, I'll admit that. But once you get through that, you get to the second half. It's so good. If you're mentally unstable, like myself, whether or not you fell deeply, deeply in love with Zaid like I did, that was definitely a telltale sign that something, not to freak anyone out, but something's wrong. I've honestly never read a book like those in my
So I'm a little hungover today. My friends, I fear that I took it a step too far last night. In life, we all make decisions, and unfortunately, we have to live with the decisions that we make. The decision that I made last night was the executive decision to go to a lacrosse game with my friends and then drink copious amounts of vodka pineapples. I decided to follow through with getting a poutine with stuffing on top, and then proceed to finish said entire poutine in the back of an Uber home. So now my day's ruined, and I'll tell you why. I just spat. I just now realized there's a stain on my Drew sweater. There's a stain on my Drew sweater, and my day's ruined. Great. But to stop messing about, as the Brits would say, I am in my dad's office because everyone's home today, and this is the only form of privacy and solace that I can find within these four walls. I realize it's not the cutest looking place in the whole world. My stomach really just started hurting all of a sudden. Okay guys, so I have finished both Haunting Adeline and Haunting Adeline. I have finished the cat and mouse duet. As much as I loved it, I just wanted to touch on a few things that I maybe would have changed. I rated both of them 3.5 stars. Pretty much 4 stars, but there was just these few things that I just wanted to touch on. First of all, I think Zaid, sexiest man alive, love him so much. I think he could have had a way more interesting backstory. I didn't really buy the whole
oh, I didn't even have a bad childhood. I had a great childhood. I just decided to become a terrible person.
It could have added another layer to the story if Zaid had some sort of crazy backstory. The other thing is Sibby. The whole henchman weird shit she was doing. It was camp. It was camp. It was funny. It was weird. It was different, and it was silly, but there was genuinely some points when I think my dad's literally about to walk downstairs and interrupt this. There were times when I was reading and literally Sibby would say something just so cringy. Yeah? Oh, okay. I'm just filming something. The joys of living at home as a 23-year-old woman, you know what I'm saying? Or just some things Sibby would do, just almost felt a bit repetitive sometimes. I'm we get it, she's crazy, she's weird. She likes to do sexual things in public. Okay, that's cool. It was just kind of I don't really care, I don't care. Then, the other thing, as much as I absolutely loved everything Zaid said, the things he would say, I'd be I'm about to start barking. I'm about to start yip, I'm about to start yip yapping.
I'm about to start yip-yapping like a dog on my hands and knees and start yip-yapping. Hey, who the fuck recites a full novella of poetry while they're hooking up with someone? Who does that? Because I'll tell you one thing, if someone was speaking in riddles to me while we were engaging in adult acts together, I don't think I would do it again. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, you guys, because I'm feeling so icky, gross, I am now starting the ritual. I've seen this all over booktube, like booktubers who love dark romances love this book. I'm pretty sure it's like in a series. I think there's like 3 of them. I have no idea, actually. That just came out of my mouth and I have no idea. I start a sentence and I don't know where it's going. And then I finish it. And then essentially about this like kind of weird secret society called the Lords at this university. All of the Lords, which are all these like young men who essentially just murder people. Young men who murder. Hot. Each of the Lords gets a chosen one, which is like a girl that they see at the university that they decide like to become essentially their slave. You guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? What am I doing? Just the gag is, when I read ACOTAR and all the Sarah J Maas books, I'm like, okay, this is spice. This is serious. Like, oh my God, I'm so crazy for this. I'm actually reading about men who are murderers and using women as slaves. And I'm finding it arousing. It's at the point where it's like, you know that meme that's like, this is an obsession, it's not hurting anyone. You know, it might be. Anyways, I digress. Basically about the love story between this lord and his chosen one. And hey, I'm gonna eat it up. I'm gonna let you guys know how it is. My entire Kindle library could put me in jail. My Kindle library, if explored by authorities, could get me very well locked up for a few months.
I'm sorry, little kids.
If one of my parents got access to my Kindle and read the things that I have currently downloaded, I would be like back in the early 2000s movies where they would send me to military school. It's like that. I feel like I'm gonna be so messed up from my dark romances, you guys, that it's gonna take me a while to be able to read regular romance without being like, boring, sleepy.
I have no words. I'm 18% in. Hey, guess what? Need him. Hey, Riot Archer. Need you.
About to head out for lunch with my dad, but I just wanted to give a little update about the ritual. It is so good. Like, I am hooked. I have to say, the only thing is, I feel like the plot is moving like really fast. Like, as much as I like, you know, to get right into the action, let me just adjust the brightness. I don't like the brightness. As much as I love like a fast moving plot, I think there's a way that you can do it so it's not like immediately they're fucking on each other, okay? That would be my only thing, but I mean, I'm a little over halfway now, I think. Shit's picked up a lot. I have a feeling that there's gonna be a 3rd act breakup. I think 3rd act breakups should be illegal. Why, as an author, are you writing a 3rd act breakup? Right before bed, she found something out. No spoilers, but she found something out that like really pissed her off about Riot, and I'm just like, no, please just stay together. And in this series, they're all like standalones. Like, they're all like, it's about a different character in every book. So it's like, if this ends badly for them, I'm gonna be pissed. But I feel like it's coming. And I'm pissed. So yeah, that's my little update on the ritual. Loving it. Okay guys, so I finished the ritual, and it was so good. It was so entertaining. Only thing I would say is I felt like romance Some aspects of the romance moved a little too fast for me. Like, obviously they had like an instant physical attraction, but they really didn't like each other at first. Then like the slow burn was good for sure, but they're kind of forced into a relationship. Like, that's not a spoiler, it's literally the premise of the book. They're forced into a relationship, and like watching them actually fall for each other takes some time, but there is a lot of physicality beforehand, if you know what I'm saying. I did even think sometimes the physical aspect moved a little quickly, but I loved it. Riot Archer is absolutely horrendously hot, and if you need a new book boyfriend who, oh, we're zooming in. You need a new book boyfriend who is literally disgustingly hot and kind of a terrible guy, then Riot Archer is your man, okay? Riot Archer. I think I'll probably read the other books in this series. Apparently this one was tame compared to the other ones, which I'm really intrigued by because it definitely wasn't tame to me, babe. It definitely was not tame to my standards. So I loved it. I think I'm gonna give this one a 4 stars. So that will bring me to the end of this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. Thank you so much for all the love that you've been giving me lately on my Kindle video. I want to thank you all for the adorable messages and comments that you've all been leaving me and stuff. It's so cute, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are my besties, just so you know. I hope that you all have a wonderful day and week, and I can't wait to talk to you next Monday. Let me know down in the comments below if you are a dark romance reader and what your favorites are, because I need more recommendations, because I am about to go on a dark romance binge. That's something that I can't avoid at this point. Let me know your favorite dark romance recs, and I will definitely read them. Let me know if you want another dark romance reading vlog, and I will deliver that to you. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys. Have a fabulous week, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. Okay, bye.